9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday, y'all. TK Trinidad here for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. We got a lot to talk about. This is WWT Live edition, and we have the PR princess herself in the building. Of course, it's a Wednesday, so you know what it is.
You already know. It is Wednesday, and it is for the timeless elitist of all elitists, because I mean, yeah, we have Dynamite, but we have other stuff happening. But happy to be here on a Wednesday of the week.
Yes, and she is bringing us hope for sure on a wonderful Wednesday. Hope is also in the building.
Hi, everybody. Happy Dynamite Wednesday. Good to see you.
Well, let's get into this. We talked about it a little bit on, what was it, Monday? And I wish Will was on the show. I just added the story too, by the way, Courtney. And shout out to Jeffrey and Eric in the building. I wish Will was on the show because he could attest that I have been saying Bianca has been pregnant for a while now. It's just been confirmed via Montez's social media page that she's 6 months pregnant. And it's kind of like, how do y'all not see it? Like, conveniently hiding certain things, because you see her before outfits, and like, how did y'all not see it? And obviously you don't want to call any woman pregnant when she's not, so I can see why people are like, nah, you pregnant. But privately, and like I said, Will can attest to this, I've been saying she's pregnant for a minute, so I'm very happy and satisfied that I knew I was right. Definitely congratulations to them. But let's also talk about Montez and his I guess weight loss journey. It's kind of crazy because his weight gain is probably like the average American, so still congratulations. But yeah, Courtney, how did you like Montez's post and transformation and addition or re-addition to the Raw family?
Well, first off, congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford on their latest Bundle of Joy. Because if you watch their show, which was on Hulu, they were talking about this a few times on their episode. So make sure to check out their show. But anyways, first off, it's nice to see the Street Profits back on Monday. It's nice that we at least get some umph in the Raw's tag team division, because before that it felt deflated. But I'm happy Montez is back, and D'Angelo Dawkins, they're both back as well. But he looks really good. He looks leaning. He's saying he had a baby, and I love that they kept quiet about this, because I know everybody says like they're pregnant, they're not pregnant, but I'm happy they did keep it quiet. And I think that was the last thing people thought about, was she pregnant? Because of course they focused so much on her finger injury, when she's gonna come back for WrestleMania, when she's gonna come back if possible for SummerSlam. So I'm happy for Montez. It's just we need to get him and Dawkins need to get some tag team gold on Raw and really kind of push and help elevate the Raw tag team division.
Right. Hope.
Oh my gosh. Congrats. I was in tears. I think the look on Cena's face did it for me. But wow, congrats. I personally didn't think he needed to lose weight, but it's amazing when you trim, I guess, wrestling style, because he was fine before, but he is fine now. Papa ready. Yeah, good for him. Not at all.
Yeah, and then Angelo lost some weight too. I saw his post on Instagram too. He did a weight loss. He lost some weight as well. So, shout out to them. And doing it in 2 months is not an easy feat. They probably was. I mean, they need to release what they ate, and then also Roman Reigns needs to release what he ate, because he definitely did something leading up to WrestleMania. That is for sure.
Yeah, that's fire without question. Like,
yes.
Oh man,
that is for sure. And then some happy birthdays in order. Perfect timing. Happy birthday to Obafemi. So how old is he turning? Because black don't crack. Do we have an age on him?
No. Anyone in the chat know?
No.
I know. Where's Bosa when you need him?
I know. But
He
it's
is
the
28,
rulers. He doesn't look 28. He really doesn't.
right? Right? 28 years old. Thanks,
Oh
Marlon.
my god.
What are you gonna say, Court?
No, he does. He really does not look 28. I thought at least he would look be in his early 30s. But happy birthday to the
Damn.
ruler.
So wait, you're saying he looks older?
Well, he looks in his early 30s. I was like 28. A little bit.
Happy
well,
birthday,
yeah.
Opa. Happy birthday.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get Dylan to delete that part. But with that being said, Courtney, what's happening in Dynamite?
Oh my goodness. So AEW Dynamite. We're happening at the top of the hour. Yours truly will be on the call for Timeless Elite Wednesday. And if you missed the news, Darby Allin is the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, or as I call him, Evil Knievel Jr., because he does a lot of crazy things. He's going to be addressing the crowd after winning last week against MJF and in Everett, Washington. But that's not the only time you're going to see Darby, because he's going to be in action and defending the belt against the Psycho Killer Tommaso Ciampa. All this leading up to the Road or Double or Nothing. So you could tell by these two men, they're going to have a very banger of a match, and very excited to see how Darby's reign's going to look like. And after the commotion last week between Will Ospreay and Hechicero, Mark Davis gave a pile driver to Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay wants retribution against his former tag team partner, Mark Davis. And you can bet Don Callis and the rest of the Don Callis family will be lurking and watching this match very, very carefully. And I can't forget the ladies in this one. Hikaru Shida is back, taking on Mina Shirakawa. Apparently, Mina doesn't trust Hikaru Shida, so these two ladies are going to deck it out, while all the while we still don't know who attacked Timeless Tony Storm. But all this and more is happening at the top of the hour of AEW Dynamite. Friendly reminder, it will be coast to coast. So if you are in the West Coast, you can watch it at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it'll be all across the board. Top of the hour on TBS and simulcast on HBO Max. And is there a match or a segment in particular that you guys are interested in AEW Dynamite tonight?
Definitely Timeless Elite. Let's hear what she has to say.
Oh, me? Well, obviously Darby, hearing what he said last week, I mean, thank God, Boss Lady, you were not on Friday, because I did drop a pipe bomb regarding Darby Allin's win. Yeah, okay. It was a pipe bomb, but I'm very curious with Darby on what's he gonna do and say. Obviously, of course, Will Ospreay, he still has retribution with Mox, but has to go through the Don Callis family first. But I'm excited for Hikaru Shida and Mina Shirakawa, because these two ladies know each other very well. Also, with the fact, too, there's a lot of speculation, because I think I may do a series on who attacked Tony Storm, because with Camille back, Shida back, also Mina, almost everyone in the women's division is a suspect on who attacked Tony Storm, because if you recall, Hikaru Shida is one of Tony Storm's nemesis in AEW, if you remember. But I do think these ladies are going to deck it out, and it's going to be interesting, because Hikaru Shida has a tag team with Chris Statlander.
Cannot imagine how Mina doesn't trust Shida. Can't imagine it at all. But that's the match that I'm looking forward to. And always, y'all know me. I like the baddies, or the ones we love to hate. I want to see the guys in gold and black say, "We hurt people. We hurt people." So we know they're going to up at some point.
Oh yeah. All right. I like it. Staying on some AEW knows, talking about the AEW merch design team, those members that got let go. Do you have any more updates with this, Courtney, or tell us what happened?
So there was a lot that happened, because apparently there was buzz regarding a Reddit post, apparently that laid off their entire merch division. But apparently there was a lot of follow-up happening, because the person that represents Pro Wrestling Tees denied the claim. And I quote from Pro Wrestling Tees saying, "The person who made the Reddit post circulating has no knowledge of our business. Nothing on that post is true, except that we unfortunately told some of our contracted designers that we would not need them for as many AEW designs anymore. Some of the AEW designers are still contracted. Nothing has changed otherwise, and we are still fulfilling merchandise for AEW." So the good thing is at least some of them are still there, but there's just been a lot of flack with this because this is an ongoing story, and we don't like to see anybody get rid of a job, but I'm happy some of them did stay.
Yeah, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, how it's regardless of what company, wrestling company or whatever, regardless of what's going on, it's usually sales, communications, marketing, PR, whatever it is that they have,
Right.
it's the first one that gets cut.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It is interesting that it got picked up from a Reddit post, and it's not quite the thing, quite what happened. However, it is also funny when we see stuff break before I guess it's supposed to break. So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Because that's interesting. If later on it does come that AEW severs their ties with Pro Wrestling Tees, I think that's telling some type of story. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I do, before we get to Jade Cargill, I want to definitely talk about Booker T. He reveals that a fan filmed him in the bathroom during WWE WrestleMania weekend, which is crazy because I definitely believe it. And we also had a few stories, Cody Rhodes and some of the other female talent people. I think Jade also talked about it as far as people running into the hotel and stuff like that. And then I think shortly before WrestleMania, I think a story broke where the superstars pretty much said WWE's not going to be covering, security. And I mentioned at the top of the show on Monday, but just seeing how Mark moves around in the world, in particularly when we were at WrestleMania. So for you guys who don't know or just joining, I assisted Mark Henry throughout the week of WrestleMania, and I saw literally 6 security people flank him in order to get him to certain places, and people still trying to touch him or whatever. And it's just kind of like I understand where you might not get to be this close to a superstar, but also personal space. So now to double down and go into the bathroom and film is an interesting, I guess, new low for fans. But Courtney, you want to talk about a little bit more?
Yeah, it's interesting because I wasn't here on Monday, but I've seen a lot of reports regarding Booker T. TMZ reported regarding what happened with CM Punk, and it's a good thing too. That fan, CM Punk would have went a little bit further, but thank God he didn't, because that would have been more on Punk's fault. And TMZ of all places, obviously. And then we did see what happened with Royce Keys, because somebody was following him, even though he tried to say no thank you. The fan was still following him, and that's really something to be alarming. And Damian Priest at one point had to help out some of the female talent during the weekend because there was no security. So that's a lot of things too. And
I think Elena Black at WrestleCon too was sexually,
Yes, and that's very, very hard to do. But it kind of, do I have to do a pipe bomb again? Apparently, there is just some things where some wrestling fans have earned their reputation of being rude and entitled and think they can get an autograph just because the superstar's on the floor. Because I've seen clips of with Randy Orton, because Randy Orton tried to leave. Drew McIntyre tried to leave, and thankfully he was very, very calm about it. But I do think this is something not just with WWE, but I think with every single wrestling promotion, because obviously one of the most important things, safety comes first for the talent. Like safety has to come first, regardless of what promotion you're looking for. And I think this is something that a lot of companies, not just TKO or WWE or your Endeavor, but it's going to be something to think about. And if you thought Vegas was crazy, could you imagine how wild it would be in Saudi at WrestleMania next year? that's another layer to really think about. And Boss Man Tony Khan, I'm just saying, if you're going to be in London, so Mr. Boss Man, you got to amp up security for your AEW talent because their safety comes first. But that's something. And also, the thing that really bothered me regarding CM Punk, the fan wanted CM Punk to apologize. First off, CM Punk doesn't owe anybody apology. And I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan, but I do respect him. He's trying to do what he does as a husband, protecting his wife. And if you would have known that, AJ Lee suffers from mental health because she talked about it many, many times. And I can't even imagine with everything happening with her anxiety, how she was feeling. And even they tried to do it with Bayley, and Bayley tried to remove herself from the execution. But unfortunately, there are just some fans that need proper etiquette, especially when you have a phone out. That's very, very, very uncalled for, because if you did respect the superstar, you would respect their privacy. You would respect their boundaries. And also, I could see why, because I said this last week, I could see why a lot of them who are not even dating at the moment don't want to disclose that because of stuff like this. Because they get it not just in person, they get it from their DMs on socials and also in the comments. So stop being weird. Stop being weird. Stop being awkward. Just remember, wrestlers are human beings.
I don't even know what to say about this. When I heard about it, I thought it was a joke at first because it's WrestleMania. There's going to be security. Of course, they're going to heighten security. And to hear about various things, and it goes on and on. It's like something's coming out every day, new from someone else. But to hear this with Booker T in particular, I'm like, I'm thinking back to when we would, back in the day, there's following wrestlers and then there's following wrestlers. It never even entered my mind to follow anyone into the women's restroom. Just never. For a host of reasons. No. And I can only imagine a men's restroom, the men's stall, the I mean, that's not a fan. That's something else on a whole other level. Just shameful. And it's a shame because, the money is there. Obviously, I'm very surprised that TKO didn't do better.
Right. Or logistics wise too. Yeah. The MGM, what I discovered is the MGM also has MGM suites, and they have 3 towers. So you have the MGM hotel and casino, and then they have 3 towers behind there that are suites. And I honestly think you could have rented out 1 tower, locked it off, and this is just for WWE superstars. Like I feel like it could have 1 or 2 towers. I don't know. I feel like it could have been that easy. Because there's a way to lock that off where now it's on the WWE superstar if they want to go to like the MGM. But as far as the towers are concerned, you are protected in this because it's just y'all in there. I definitely, because I stayed in, I think, Tower 3, and it is definitely real, like it's private. So I feel like that, like maybe logistics wise, they were dropping on the ball on that. But again, like I don't understand why they didn't have security. It's interesting. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of different changes. Like I said last time, maybe not in the best way. I hope for the best, but
no.
Yeah,
I know it was a good thing I was on Monday because I have to talk about the food menu too. Because a person that loves food, that I would not pay that much money for a tomahawk steak. I'm just being dead honest. Like I wouldn't even think of having it at a stadium at all, which is crazy because I saw some of the food that they have, and I think Sports Illustrated posted something. I'm like, I wouldn't pay that much for food, to be honest with you, especially some of the dishes were a little bit over the top. That's just me.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's almost the point where it's just better to watch it at home. Go and get yourself a NordVPN. go and get yourself that. And you don't know what we're talking about, go and put go to nordvpn.com, go put in WWT, get yourself 75% off, and you can watch it from the comfort of your home, and be comfortable and eat what you want and all this other stuff. As far as seeing the superstars, like I get where some people come from, where it's like you haven't seen, like, I saw lines for different people at WrestleCon, and even how WrestleCon was, like the superstars had to walk through the front door. Even when we were leaving, we didn't have security for WrestleCon. So that was a situation. Like everybody, including other superstars, were outside like everybody else, waiting for their Ubers and Lyfts. And it's kind of one of those things where, yes, there's the opportunity, but also like I had to start reading Mark's face to see, like, because he would take some pictures and then it would get to be too much. Yeah. So I had to really like look at his face to see, okay, well, he's good, or it's a very, interesting place to be. And I honestly don't get, I understand the mentality of some people's like, I don't know when I'm going to see this superstar again. I personally, before I even got into the entertainment industry, don't feel like that about anybody. And also if you just kind of act normal, then maybe you'll get more opportunities.
It's not that hard to be normal. I can say this from a person. I didn't work in entertainment, but I worked in hospitality.
It's not that hard to be normal. It's a lot. I guess it is.
Well, I'm not gonna say. Well, let me rephrase that. I would say it's not hard, but there's certain skills. People
always follow you into the bathroom. Like, what are you gonna?
That's a little bit harsh to say, and they record you. That's
another level. It's just so, I don't understand why anyone would think that's okay. There are people who I would love to meet, and people who I have met, but I respect boundaries. And, one in particular, to this day, I regret not grabbing a pic with her, but we did have a brief conversation. It was early in the morning, and, she was maybe a bit disheveled, and I got it, but man, I wish I had gotten that pic. But still, there are others who, if they had the opportunity, wouldn't have even asked, probably just would have grabbed the camera and snapped it. It's like, no.
Which is another thing too. That's crazy, because you'll see people like recording, and you could see them in their face. I don't know, man. I actually, now that I'm like thinking about it, because I don't know if I blocked it out, there's so many cases where like we're all eating at a table and you see somebody literally recording from across, like it's, man. I don't know, man.
Even like with Drew, Drew was just trying to get to his hotel room, and like people were like mobbing him, and there was no security there. And Randy was trying to get to his room, and people were still mobbing him.
Yeah, and I feel like that wasn't the case last year. I think in LA they stayed at the hotel next to Staples, but I feel like they were kind of blocked off a little bit. So I wonder what I don't know. If somebody dropped the ball, or it's a financial issue, or did they just not think fans
greed?
Yeah, greed? I don't know.
Because odd. I worked in hospitality too, and security can be taken care of. They can contract if they don't have enough there. I mean, I simply do not just find it hard to believe that they did this, and that the wrestlers and the superstars haven't gotten together and spoken up, because nothing's going to change until that happens. I mean, that's a legit safety issue.
Safety and making sure they don't feel threatened. And it's crazy because I don't think I've had much craziness when SummerSlam came into Jersey last year, and it was a big weekend, and we're not that far, even though like some stuff they were doing at the American Mall. Obviously, of course, WrestleCon was at the Newark International Airport inside the hotel. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. We did mention it slightly. I don't know if we go into the full story. Let's talk about CM Punk and his his story with another fan.
Yeah, TMZ reported this. This is very interesting, and it just kind of blew up. Let me rephrase that. It was TMZ Sports, by the way, that reported this, and then TMZ reposted it. So CM Punk, and this was after he lost the title. They were getting ready to go, but apparently Bailey had to comfort AJ because apparently the fan was her. It looked like he was hassling her. And that's when CM Punk had to come in to defend his wife and slap that fan's phone on the floor. And he said some things afterwards, which one, I don't blame him, because some of them were just like, oh, well, we didn't mean to, and all that stuff. Yeah, you did. You hassled it. You just wanted to play the victim of it. But CM Punk's face was so ice cold. I can't blame him for that, because one, he's defending his wife and he wants to leave. And the last thing that he wants is somebody heckling his wife and Bailey and people within the wrestling business. So, and I mentioned this on the previous one, and I think TMZ reported this and a lot of other wrestling media outlets picked up. The fan wanted CM Punk to apologize for what he did. CM Punk does not owe you an apology. He does not owe you nothing, because that is the thing where fans feel like they can be entitled, they can be rude, they think they owe them everything, which in actuality they don't, because they're human beings. It's like, and Jeffrey, you're right. CM Punk is lucky he didn't punch that guy in the face, because that would have escalated a little bit further, and there would be like so much liability in there. That's a different conversation for that. But for seeing that, it really does hurt. And I'm pretty sure TMZ is going to be covering this all this week, because it blew up on Monday. So they're going to be probably milking this thing, them, TMZ Sports, and everything else. And the thing that really bothered me is like TMZ giving attention to the fan and not being concerned about Punk or AJ Lee's safety. That's the thing that really bothers me. And as a person where I'm going to go in and out of wrestling a bit, it's just one of those things where it's like you're giving the person who heckled AJ Lee more attention, and that's going to be worse. I mean, I get you're trying to call it out, but this is just one of those messy little things where I don't know. It's just don't harass people's wives. Don't have your phone out in your face. Don't threaten them thinking you're better than everybody else, because that's what they tend to do, which I don't know why, but it's
views. It's views and clips, and people want to get that shot of the person that they typically didn't get. I mean, we're just in a very different space right now, and I'm not saying it's okay. I can see why fans who don't have access to, like, it's like we want more. Like, first we got social media, so now you can interact with the superstars to an extent, or actually see what their personal lives are going. Then now you're able to have stuff like WrestleCon and stuff like that, where now you're able to talk to the fans, and then they have those installations where you can kind of go to Minute Maid and hang out with the Usos for moments. So it's like they keep wanting stuff, and then you kind of see them at this thing, and it's like, well, I have access to all of this, so therefore I can get this. And it's like, at what point is it not okay? Like, do you remove all access and you pull back completely, which then results in people not necessarily buying as much merch, and now it's hurting the wrestler? Or do you, like, it's I don't know, like, MGM is a very big hotel, and to get out of it's like a maze. So why putting the superstar there is like perplexing to me. Like,
because they weren't there last year, were they?
I can't remember where they were. Like, I think they in the. I don't think they were in the Palms. They might have been in MGM last year. Because the thing is, like, it's I don't know, man. It's straight. We have to know more details. We can't, especially with this going back to the security. We can't jump into conclusions. However, I know for sure there was a place that you could have put them that could have locked off. The only problem with the towers is there's not a lot of food there. So that's the only.
That's what it's like to eat.
Right?
They like to eat. They need food.
Right, but if you're in a place like Vegas, it's hard to hide. So you would have your privacy, and it's a suite. You can also cook too. The towers are a suite, so they have stoves and microwaves and fridges. So you could have bought some stuff if you just didn't want to deal with fans. That would have been the best case scenario. Because now I think about it, like, and I mean, I wasn't up and down Tower 3 like that, but I didn't see any superstars there. So I don't know. Like, I feel like as soon as they decide that they're going back to Vegas, and they were going to do MGM, they should have bought out at least 2 of those towers. But stay la vie. Let's talk about Jade Cargill. She calls WWE her WWE's women's championship reign a practice run. Now, next time it's going to be totally different. What do you think she means by that? And we'll start with Hope.
She'll get it again. I mean, Jade doesn't need the belt. But Jade will get it again, and she'll, barring no injuries, of course, she'll get it many times over. Jade's a star. She's a legit star, and there are some ladies who probably have a problem with that for certain reasons that were discussed on Monday, which is unfortunate, especially in 2026, but it is what it is. Wishing her well. I mean, she looked great going into the ring with the belt. She also looked great when she exited. I mean, I love Rhea. I'm happy for Rhea. Rhea needed the belt. She needed the win. But yeah, Jade will get it back many times over. Do her movies, do commercials, do TV, do whatever her heart desires, because she is just that.
Yeah.
Courtney?
No, it's interesting because I think she's going to get it back. I'm not too worried about it. I was a little concerned during her reign because we were talking about this regarding creative and not having opponents for SmackDown, because almost everybody was doing almost every female in the division was doing other things. Like Chelsea got hurt. Jordan was supposed to wrestle her, but then she got hurt. And also Julia was the women's United States champion. So that was kind of a little hard to do. I just wish she had more opponents that she could work with. I would have loved to see a segment. If Julia didn't have the belt, I would have loved to see a segment with her. I would have loved to see her run it back with Tiffany Stratton when she came back. I would have loved to see Charlotte. If Charlotte and Alexa were in a tag team, because they've been teasing her versus Charlotte for almost a year since she came in. But I know everybody wanted to put all their eggs in one basket and Bianca, but it would have been nice to see her interact with all the ladies on SmackDown. That's like the one thing I wish that happened during her reign. And even though she defended it once, it was kind of hard to do because there are just so many ladies that she could have faced. But I do think she will get it back. And I hopefully, since we are seeing a lot more ladies come back, and hopefully the shift, I don't know if they're still going to do tag teams or singles, but it would be nice if she does get it back. She'll have at least a lot of opponents that she can work with. And also, hopefully down the line, we'll see her versus Charlotte. Because that's a match a lot of people want to see. I would like to see her versus Charlotte.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I hope she'll stay around at least until Naomi and Bianca come back. Because we definitely want to see that those interactions and those storylines, because that's unfinished business. But yeah, I don't think it's, well, the only reason she might not return to championship is whoever is calling the shots. And again, we're seeing things change, so we'll see what direction that's going to be headed to. But we'll wish her all the best. But like Hope said, she's a star. And it'll all work out in her favor for sure. Now takes us to WrestleMania 42 in Vegas as far as the amount of attendees and the highest grossing event in WWE history, which is very odd to me because, one, do you think it was all a work, where you bring oh my God, I just lost his name, Pat McAfee, and that element of the story and the ticket sales, and meaning that they had it's reminiscent of this. When you book a flight on the airlines and you don't want to pay extra for a seat, you want to take your chances, and then you look and they're saying all the aisles and window seats are unavailable and you only have this, you have to pay extra to be here. When in essence, it's a 50-50 chance that that's true. And with that, is that the same thing that with that happened with WWE, meaning that the ticket sales were at a certain point and they were pushing for it, or was it in reverse? Because for it to be the highest grossing, and a week prior to that, there were not as many. There were still a lot of tickets available, and the prices were dropping. I mean, which one is it? So kind of break it down for us, Courtney.
Pretty much. Yeah, when I saw that press announcement, and actually I was planning to do a little overview and case study on this on my socials, because I have many thoughts on when they said WrestleMania 42 became one of the highest grossing events in company history with the record that they have, which is very interesting. Pretty much it had, in the press release, had a record of 32 marketing partners, which included Snickers, 2K, Rita, Ram, DoorDash, Wingstop, Wheatley, American Vodka, Minute Maid, General Insurance, along with many others. But that's also another thing too, because I only saw a few that they mentioned, but okay. And one of the things with WrestleMania Saturday was the most viewed telecast of the year on ESPN2, which that's really interesting to say, because it's like, I mean, I'm a person that does watch sports. And usually one of the highest shows is Peyton and Eli's show when they do Monday Night Football. I know they have ratings, so that's also mind-blowing. And especially on WrestleMania Sunday when they said it on ESPN. And I'm just like,
right.
Oh, okay. So I'm planning to do a case study on this, because there's just a lot of deep dive into this. And also thinking about the presence of the matches and also the attendance record that John mentioned, because I think night one was like 50,818. And then the next night it did increase a little bit. I forgot the exact number, but it's very interesting. And also the sponsors too, because there wasn't that mention of sponsors. I think only 3-4 matches were sponsored. Cody's match, it had the American Wheatley vodka, obviously. I think there was,
and
like,
then whatever's in the ring and all the stuff. I mean, yeah, the sponsors could be like outside stuff too. I know Minute Maid was they had a big thing, so it could be just all around. But yeah, I don't know what that one.
Are they talking about tickets? Because I mean, to a degree, I get it. Okay, maybe you can make that claim, but it's not because of the content, it's because of the ticket prices. And then you throw in, all the events of WWE World, because those prices were off the chain to get the pics and the autographs. Now, if you're counting all that, if you're counting merch, okay, I get it. It's just like when they were here in DC for Cena's final match, saying it was the top grossing. And I know for a fact, living here, I was watching the count. They did not sell out until the very last hour. Literally, they did sell out, and it was highest grossing. But look at how much the tickets were. They outpriced me, and I wanted to go. It hurt me that I couldn't do it, but there was no way I could justify a $5,000 ticket.
And also the way they sold tickets too, because at first they were freaking out saying, oh, tickets weren't selling, and then they had to figure out other ways. That's why they had to bring Pat McAfee, who made that plug on SmackDown. You get 40% off, and then they had to do like a free ticket Friday where you don't have to pay no extra fees or anything. It's just very curious. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if they were still selling tickets leading up to the date, night one or night two.
All those empty seats. I saw those empty seats in spite of those angles. I still loved it though. I did.
I mean, yeah, it's money. People are still coming to see it. I mean, they tried to do the higher prices, and people are paying for it. So just because they priced out a lot of people, that doesn't mean other people. I mean, again, it's kind of a catch-22, because it's like they priced out some people, but then the people that we saw on the floor, did they actually pay for the tickets?
Exactly. They probably mortgaged their homes. And some of these things too, they have it divvied up. I forget, like Afterpay or something. Like you put a down payment on it and it's divvied up. And I'm like, that's still a lot of money. And if you don't pay
Mhm.
that off, the interest and everything, I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Not when I can sit in the comfort of my home.
Well, it is what it is, but definitely congratulations to them. I definitely do agree with you. Hope Night 2 was a better show than Night 1. Nonetheless, it was still a great show. There's nobody else that can compare to the level of production, whether storytelling or not, to WWE. They're the
Without
top, and
question.
you know
Without
it that's yeah. There's no
There's
taking
still,
take that away from them.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
they're still at the
No.
top. They've done 42 WrestleManias,
When you
42 since
think about
85.
that, ooh,
Hmm.
the true granddaddy. I mean, when you
Yeah.
think of all the territories that were once great and you never thought would shut their doors, it may be renamed. I remember it when it was WWF, but WWE, even with whatever happens down the road,
Mhm.
it'll still be around. It's just a matter of will we like what they have to offer?
It,
Can
and
we?
it's going to be interesting on how they started, because I know I saw the commercial they started next year in
Mhm.
Saudi. So it's going to be interesting on how they promote this with tickets and everything else leading up to next year at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think the thing with Saudi too, what people may be forgetting, and I might be completely wrong at this, there's a whole world outside of America
Yes, yes,
True.
yes, yes.
that people could. It'll be an easier travel to Saudi than it is to America. So I'm curious to see. I think we've just kind of been spoiled. Um, so I'm curious to see. I mean, think back when they did the shows in France and like the sold out, and like it's so. I think they'll be fine. I think us who are living in North America, we're just kind of like, wait. It's almost like, I don't think I've given a terrible analogy in a while. It's almost like a girl's been going out for a while and she's used to steak, and then all of a sudden you take her to McDonald's and you're like, wait, what's happening right now? Like, you want me to you're not even giving me the option to pay an expensive ticket to go to WrestleMania? How dare you? So I think they should be fine. I mean, I know there have been rumors as far as Saudi's not happening. I did speak to a few people and they seemed very confident that it is happening. So we'll see how it plays out. But I think there's a whole entire world that's outside of North America that will show up. So,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna be up to the smart people
Mhm.
that's gonna cater to us here. That's
Counter
essentially what it is.
AEW
So
and Indies
yeah.
is you can counter, and it doesn't even have
Mhm.
to fall on WrestleMania weekend, so long as it's that
Nope, nope, nope.
around.
Yeah.
They don't have to,
So
but we shall see.
we shall see indeed. One thing I didn't want to talk about is the Netflix documentary Hulk Hogan is out. Myself and Christina, we're going to be having a watch along tonight to watch an episode or two. So you definitely want to keep it locked, in addition to Courtney having AEW watch along. But I've been seeing a couple reports, so I'm interested to see what's going on. Like, if you guys have been staying close to our channel, we finally 2 years later finished the Vince McMahon documentary.
Finally.
So that was very interesting. The timing is actually perfect because just seeing how it's evolved from them. So I'm curious to see how this Hulk Hogan documentary is going to be. So definitely keep it locked. Keep it locked to the YouTube page, and we'll kind of dive into it because obviously y'all know. But
Mhm.
yes, anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything for today.
There it is.
Good.
There it is. All right. Well, Miss Hope, where can everybody find you?
Miss Hope 0621 on all the socials, also known as Honey's Baby.
All right. And Courtney?
Well, they can always find me top of the hour because we got Timeless Elite Wednesday with AEW Dynamite happening because we are on the road to Double or Nothing. We have a new AEW World Champion. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of shenanigans. And also for people on the West Coast, you can watch it at 8 o'clock tonight from coast to coast, which, by the way, after Dynamite's over, there's hockey happening. So there's hockey playoffs happening. So do not be shocked if it ends on time. But anyways, you will definitely catch up with me at the top of the hour. Also, you can follow me on my socials on @CourtneyJ11. I am going to do a deeper case study dive into WrestleMania 42 that happened, because there's a lot of things that kind of, from my strategic standpoint, that I definitely want to point out. So you do not want to miss that. And since WrestleMania is over, Detective Courtney's on the case on who attacked Toni Storm, because there's a lot of suspects happening since we've seen Camille, we've seen Cheetah back. There's a lot of suspects on who attacked Toni Storm. So you do not want to miss AEW Dynamite. Make sure to follow ISPW Wrestling, because yours truly will be back on the call next Friday, because they will have their Golden Ticket Battle Royal. Pretty much all the guys from ISPW Wrestling are going to be fighting for that Golden Ticket briefcase for a shot for the ISPW World Heavyweight title. So you do not want to miss that. Next month is 80s Wrestling Con. All the stars from the 80s in New Jersey. You do not want to miss that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yep. So y'all can definitely follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. Maria, I see you. I hear you. We will try to hold off until Courtney is done to do the Hogan watch along. No promises, but we'll try to hold off so we can all watch it together. Make sure we have a couple of interviews dropping as well. So make sure you check all of that out. Make sure to follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms, WWT Talk Pod, and definitely check out our website, www.talkpod.com. And also, before we get out of here, definitely check out the Women's Wrestling Archive.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate $1, $5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.